Hello, welcome to another edition of the podcast.
Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Oh, hey, good to see everybody today. Thank you very much for coming out for the podcast today. As you know, we are getting into 2025, and we're spending this first month kind of giving you some career tips. And there's a lot of people looking at this industry. They're not sure if they should get into it or not. And we're going to let you know that this is a good industry to get into. There's a lot of benefits to it, but you got to be smart about it. You know, 76% of the movement of trucks across, of goods across North America move by truck. That's roughly 76%, which is an awful lot for sure. So, all right, let's just get into truck driving, some of the benefits for it. They also say, you know, there's a lot of benefits to being a truck driver that you may or may not understand. And we all look at the, a lot of people look at the money. A lot of people look at some of the, the long-term stuff as far as, employment and that kind of stuff. But there's a lot more things. Now, the thing about truck driving is everybody thinks that truck drivers are they can't do anything else, so they become a truck driver. And I can tell you, I was into that mode. Back when I started in the 80s. Grade 10 was about the actual highest level of education for a lot of guys, because there was a lot of farmers that came in, a lot of people that worked with their hands, lived off the land, that kind of thing, that became truck drivers. The world is changing now, and a lot of people that are driving truck are actually fairly educated people. And if you've ever done this job, you know you have to be super educated just to do this job. That's the cool thing about it. So a lot of people think that truck drivers really can't do more of that you have to be extremely smart. If you think of all the things like trip planning, now we're getting into technology, driving, watching out the millions of different things you have to watch out for, learning inspections, all those things. There's a lot of knowledge in this industry that you have to know, and you can't know it as a truck driver if you've never done it. And so you cannot be a stupid person to be a truck driver. You have to be very smart to be a truck driver, which is why so many people fail, because there is a lot to know. And if you don't take the time to actually learn it properly and take it seriously, then you are going to end up being one of those people that have a lot of knowledge but can't actually do the job. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons to being a truck driver. Let's look at the pros. You can make good money being a truck driver. Things are changing, but if you specialize and you keep yourself clean and keep your record clean, you can make really good money in this industry. A lot of people have. I've seen it over and over. I'd be one of those that have been in this industry for a long time, so you can certainly look at that. As I mentioned, employment is the biggest thing. You can have years and years of employment. Again, trucking will always be here, whether it's through cars, trucks, planes, or automobiles. There will be some way of moving goods around the country, and truck drivers, and whether we're called that in the future, will be part of that industry. You might be driving a plane, but you will be part of that industry. So employment longevity is really big for that as well. And then also the things you learn that are the soft skills that I call them. Never mind the driving and the trucks. That's all. I just love that. That's the cool part of it. You know, all these big trucks and driving around. But seeing the country is just amazing. That is one of the benefits of seeing this, and you're paid to see it. Now, it may not be on your schedule, maybe on someone else's schedule, but it is pretty cool to get around the country and see all the cool things happening, and you are getting paid to do that. But it's the soft skills that I found were the biggest thing. And I started in the moving industry, where you learn how to deal with people, you learn how to deal with different situations, you learn how to you become street smart, you learn how to manage traffic, learn how to trip plan, learn how to avoid delays, learn how to excel at things like paperwork and management of your truck. It's almost like a self-learning on being in a business. And dealing with people is probably the biggest part of that, something I learned early on in my career, and it's still that way today. So those are some of the great benefits of being in this industry. The camaraderie with the different drivers. Not everybody can do this job, so as soon as you have a class of license, truck license, commercial license, you are automatically in a group of people, whether you want to be there or not. And then there's groups within that group, but you are in a group of people who are considered professional drivers across the country. And that is the cool thing about being in there. So there's a lot of issues, a lot of benefits there to being a truck driver. Bye for now.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.